Hello and good morning. It's a brand new week on your #1 family breakfast show. And it feels really, really great to be right here to help you start your new week the right way.
Yeah, of course, as we inch closer to the end of the year, we have only just about 9 weeks left, believe it or not. There's always a great way to make your mornings, and that is on this show, Wake Up Nigeria.
We do everything possible to make sure that we give you something new, to give you that boost for
Yes,
new
indeed.
hope
Yes,
every
indeed.
single week.
Yeah.
And well, hey, thanks for joining us on this edition of Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Titilayo Onyison.
And I'm Yomi Oke. Now when it's Monday, you know, so most people don't like to get out of bed because, you know, you wish there was a long weekend and all of that. But when life gives you lemons, like Mary.
You make lemon tea.
You make lemon tea. Oh, Titi, you are awesome. You got it. You make lemon tea, like I'm doing this morning.
Well, life gives you lemons. Anyway, we're streaming live right now at TVC Entertainment. .tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect. Send in your comments across our social media platforms. Use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria.
Yes, indeed. Wake Up Nigeria on TVC is the hashtag. You need to also download our amazing online app. Just go to any Android or iOS store, download the app, watch us on your mobile devices from anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go straight to this morning's highlights. Lots of stuff that's going to be happening over the next 3 hours or so. And we're starting with tech updates.
Yeah, tech. When it comes to tech, Mike always has it on lockdown. He's going to be sharing the latest in the world of technology. I really enjoy those updates, I have to say.
Right after that, we're going to have our first musical performance from Alao Ibrahim Ishola, popularly known as Ibradoski.
We will also be enjoying a special feature from Odumaki. Now you need to stay around for that one.
Maki, a woman who never...
All right after that comes our second musical performance for today. From Nigerian rap artist Akinfele.
Bless, 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 Lord bless you. Bless, 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 bless.
Now, you want to know how to make millions before the end of 2019? Does it seem too good to be true? Now, the career success catalyst, Mr. Jimmy Tewe, will be here joining us for a motivating discussion on that. Millions before the end of the year? Yes, it's possible.
Yeah, look at that. That's a cash.
Legitimately.
Anyway.
Let's add.
Now, it's a rainy season and, you know, there's flooding all over the place. And Ayo Shofela will be here to tell us the signs and all you need to know when your car is flooded or when there's something going on that's been affected by the floods.
Yes, indeed. So now for this week's SME, we have Genesis and Jesse Onomuwo. Now they're the founders of Auto Sparkle, an innovative auto care services company. Yes, Auto Sparkle. It's very, very to the point, isn't it?
Put some Vaseline on that car.
Wow.
Extra shine.
Yeah, that's a nice Monday motivation for you.
So,
Yomi?
you think now, sure you see enter Lekki Road or somewhere with that car.
For what are you
2 seconds.
So this is what happened. Sunday morning, just put this in perspective. You want to go and clean the car, and then rain falls, right? And not this serious rain, so you can't really wash the dirt off. You know that kind of rain that just drop, then people now drive past, so you know how the car looks like. And then you go, and then you wipe it off, and then you go back in, and then the same wintry rain falls again. And it now dries off while you are inside waiting. So it's cool when you sparkle, but man, if you're going to enter this road, also see the tires. The guy was. So it's just for sure. When you sparkle like okay, just keep it in somewhere. I remember this Prince of Dubai who had this very. I don't know if you've seen Fast and Furious 7, who had this super car. He doesn't drive it. Just place it on the penthouse. Just keep it there. You don't sit down, you're admiring the car. So, but that's cool. All those sparkle. Nice one there. Nice one there.
So it's actually, so a lot of people that don't, when you don't have a vehicle, you know, you don't think about some things. But then when you finally have a vehicle, you're wondering, wait, how did this car get so inside, the inside especially?
Yeah.
You now start seeing sweet wrappers, biscuit paper, you know, somebody's old shoes, you know, like, you're like, slippers under the seat. You're wondering, what on earth?
How did you get there?
Okay. So how did the weekend go for you guys? What an interesting weekend.
I was wondering.
Mary.
Weekend. No, we'll come to my own. But it is weekend. It was on point.
So who, if you were following me on social media, you'll know how far. Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you do weekend?
Okay, so my weekend was actually really good. Saturday, I slept in. In fact, it was hard to drag myself out of bed to do the laundry. So mostly on Saturday, I was like totally myself, just chilling. Sunday, more or less the same thing. The thing is, I haven't had this kind of leisurely weekend in a very long while. I'm always having stuff to do weekends. So last weekend was really pleasant. It was really good.
Talk about the weekend. Tell me.
So I decided to make a decision to make my hair. It's an important decision. I haven't made my hair to make my hair. Yeah. I decided to. I haven't made my hair in 5 years. What? So I decided, yes. So it was a huge decision. And it took me 8 hours to make my family 8 hours. And in the middle, I'm like, should I just tell her to stop? I'm like, no.
I just shaved the hair or something.
Let's go through
You made your hair in 5 years.
In
So
5
what have you
years.
been doing with your hair?
I have been wearing wigs.
Wigging
5 years.
Wigging it for 5
I'm
years.
so glad the attention is on you. Don't let them come to me.
I'm beginning to fall in love.
How's your weekend?
Okay, I spent the weekend planning, so I have got a couple of projects coming up
Okay.
for the end of the year, November and December. So, and you know what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Every enterprise,
It's built by planning.
exactly, wise planning.
Wise planning.
So apparently we
and
have
all of
2
that.
pastors now.
And
That's
so,
good.
so I did a lot of that because I know that in order for it to work, there's got to be a lot of planning,
Yes.
all the resources that are involved and all of that. So yeah,
Indeed,
that's
indeed.
Oh, wow. That's what
That's what
already
my
planning for
weekend was about.
2020. We
Mike,
might, there's
what
still
about
2
you now?
months in
Your weekend
2019.
Exactly.
Weekend.
Apart from football.
No, I was avoiding that. I was avoiding that. Yesterday night, Arsenal.
So all of you, don't try Liverpool. Don't try Liverpool. But you see Arsenal, from their
Don't
also
say it.
the captain. I just want to mention something. It was the captain. So something happened. The fans were booing or booed the captain maybe because of poor performance. They didn't expect him, and allegedly he gave them the F word.
No, it wasn't
Copped
allegedly.
his-
No. I'm going to defend Zaka on this one.
Wait, let me finish
I
now.
know Arsenal fans will come after me.
Wait,
I'm
let me-
going to defend
Wait, let me finish what
You don't take away they do that thing for that guy. It's actually a case of the cup being full. Every time he gets booed. In fact, when he became captain, it was more or less like they wanted to make him.
No, Mary, you don't understand. As a captain, forget it. They can pour whatever on you.
He had
you
had
shut
it.
up and you clap for them.
He had had it.
You don't understand.
There was
you
even drama.
You
Before
can't
the
have
F-word.
it. You are a captain.
Mike, before the airport, there was drama.
You stand up and tell them.
Yes, that was what he did.
That's what you do. No. He
No,
cut
that
his
was-
ears. He took off his jersey, walked down the tunnel. Oga, you should drop that jersey. Let's head to the news now. Ibrahim is on standby and he's definitely not an Arsenal fan. Ibrahim, how are you doing this morning?
I'm so good, Mike. How have you
Welcome back.
Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Thank you
you.
so much, yeah. All right, President Muhammad Buhari will be traveling to Saudi Arabia on Monday for the Future Investment Initiative organized by Saudi's Public Investment Fund. During the 3-day event, President Buhari will use the occasion to speak about the economic opportunities that abound in Nigeria and invite investors. There would also be discussions on the planned interest of Saudi oil company Aramco on refining in Nigeria. The summit will focus on sustainable future, technology for good and advanced society. 40 communities in Adamawa State is being submerged in water due to 3 days of non-stop rains. Property worth millions of naira were destroyed in downpour. This has led to the state government to direct affected residents along the banks of the River Benue to vacate their homes. But the biggest challenge facing the government is how best to avert a major humanitarian crisis.
First thing we did in the morning is to actually prepare, plan on what do we do. We need to know the communities, visit the communities, assess the level of ravage, and then plan evacuation and settlements.
The level of devastation is beyond the capacity of the state government. For that simple reason, we are calling on the federal government, our international partners, well-to-do individuals to come to the aid of these victims.
The rainfall is too heavy. The rainfall was so heavy and the flood we cannot contain. So almost all our crops, our farm is gone.
Civil society in Rivers State is asking the government and its agencies to find a lasting solution to the constant flooding disasters ravaging some communities. Our correspondent Uche Okoro reports this formed part of discussions at a meeting held in Port Harcourt, where the impact of the floods was discussed.
It is no longer strange that around this time every year, floodwaters sweep through many coastal communities in Rivers State. Many residents relocate before the floods come, but others with no alternative shelter are forced to wait for the arrival of their annual visitor. Worried about this trend, these civil society activists want government and other stakeholders to be proactive in handling the situation.
I think there is need to actually adopt measures to address the issues once and for all. And besides, government is aware that these issues keep coming up, because when it happens, camps are set up to move affected community members to those camps. I remember last year we visited camps in Ahoda West. But then there is no show of preparedness towards if it comes again, what happens.
There are some reports that by 2030, we may even have most of Niger Delta submerged by water. So it is not something that our government should be sitting to wait to see whether flood will come or will not come. Like this year's flood, Nimet gave enough warning, enough time for people to plan. And I'm surprised that in Rivers State, we didn't have any plan in place.
Many people have been displaced, farmlands washed away, and roads submerged in the Orashi region of Rivers State. But of special concern is the effect of flooding on schools in affected areas.
Very soon they will set exams. Very soon there will be midterm break. So those schools who are flooding, they will lose out. The academic year is out already. So what will the curriculum do for them this year? Is it going to be something that you're going to impact to them next year? No. It means that the children will be at a disadvantaged position.
If you get to Ebema Grammar School now, you cannot have access to the school. Children have to wade through the water to get to the school. And why it is worrisome is that last year, a child actually drowned at the gate there, the gate of Ebema Grammar School, though it was not reported. So this year again, you see children passing through the same waters to go to school.
Many victims are harvesting their cassava and other food crops prematurely due to the flood. So for them, there is urgent need for government intervention to provide food for displaced persons, many of whom cannot return to farming for now. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Let's bring you the latest from outside Nigeria. United States President Donald Trump on Sunday confirmed the death of the founder and leader of the Islamic State, Abubakar al-Baghdadi. President Trump said Baghdadi was killed in a raid conducted by U.S. military in northwest Syria. He said the ISIS leader had ignited a vest he was wearing, leading to the mutilation of his body and the death of 3 children. President Trump thanked Russia, Turkey, Syria and Iraq, Syrian Kurds for helping in the very dangerous mission that he says led to Baghdadi dying like a dog and coward.
Baghdadi is dead. He was the founder and leader of ISIS, the most ruthless and violent terror organization anywhere in the world. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Capturing or killing Baghdadi has been the top national security priority of my administration. U.S. Special Operations Forces executed a dangerous and daring nighttime raid in northwestern Syria and accomplished their mission in grand style. The U.S. personnel were incredible. I got to watch much of it. No personnel were lost in the operation, while a large number of Baghdadi's fighters and companions were killed with him.
United States President Donald Trump, that Baghdadi has been the subject of an international manhunt for years and has been incorrectly reported dead or injured multiple times. His death is another defeat of ISIS, losing its last stronghold in Syria. Crowds gathered outside Alberto Fernandez's election headquarters to celebrate his victory, expressing hopes for a new Argentina. Center-left opposition candidate Alberto Fernandez was elected president of Argentina after he secured more than the 45% of the vote needed to win, beating conservative incumbent Mauricio Macri. Mr. Macri conceded defeat on Sunday night. And as the news now, we'll take a break, take the weather report, and be back. Bye now.
Like we're starting with The Nation this morning.
Yes, I have The Nation newspaper here with me right now. And it says here, power project, probe of 1.68 billion naira cash to firm begins. AMCON raises dust over payment to subsidiary of company in receivership. Now, the story starts on the cover there and wraps up on page 7. How Odua diverted airport fund by EFCC. And it says here also how Boko Haram affiliate group ISIS leader was killed. We heard a bit about that in the news earlier on. It says here border closure will affect Lagos trade fair. Page 12 has more on that story. Supreme Court to hear Atiku's appeal Wednesday. Page 8 has more on that. ASU threatens strike over payroll. Pupil kills mate in Lagos, cult war. And finally, it says 50 naira POS charge begins. Wow. That's what we have on the cover of The Nation.
That's some coffee gist there.
Wow. 50 naira on POS charge.
Yeah, now
Okay.
The Punch on this Monday, the 28th of October, has the headline, Payroll System Controversy. ASU takes battle to National Assembly, meets Lawan Baja. IPPIS October deadline, no pay, no work, union tells federal government. And up here we have a number of stories. Banks credit to private sector hits 25.4 trillion naira. And Supreme Court hears 6 appeals on Atiku's case on Wednesday. And my Benue intervention for peace, not politics, Onyema says. And again, Buhari heads for Saudi with 4 governors and ministers. Excesses, extortion creeping into fight against internet fraud. And domestic bond subscribers get 190 billion naira in 4 months. And we've got some other stories at the bottom here on the cover of the Punch. We don't monitor salt rice sharing, INEC says. That story is on page 28. A man kills daughter during dispute with wife. That's a sad one there over the weekend. Stories on page 5. And Bayelsa Commissioner, fathers, abductors seize 5 million naira ransom messenger. And POA tenants tackle IG's wife over eviction notices. And Nigeria's ex-prime minister's wife, Jumai, dies in Lagos. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch.
I have the Guardian newspaper up next. It says Supreme Court to conceal panel on Atiku's appeal till last minute. Even members won't have prior information. Hearing holds on Wednesday. Opposition political parties caution judiciary on loss of integrity. It also says here Nigeria needs 1.5 trillion naira to fix airport infrastructure deficit. Just under the masthead there, Chile president sacks whole cabinet after protests. The whole cabinet. Interesting. Police rescue man from angry mob after smashing 1-year-old girl to death. Oh, Dad. All right. It says U.S. confirms death of ISIL chief in Syria. That's on World Report. That's what we have on the cover of The Guardian.
Let's take a look at the Vanguard, shall we? Presidential tussle, Supreme Court to hear Buhari Atiku's case Wednesday. Hearing notices issued to all parties in the matter. APC files counter-appeal, seeks revalidation of tribunal judgment. World leaders split as Trump announces death of IS leader. And primary market listing on NSE rises to 2.7 trillion naira in 6 months. And insecurity, northern governors express worry over porous borders. And 2020 budget, PDP rep caucus insists on thorough screening. And minimum wage, retirees seek minimum pension. They're part of minimum wage, federal government says. And lawyers split as reps seek separation of AGF, Justice Minister's office. And herdsmen killings, no basis for apology to Benue, says Fulani leader. And Mieti Allah didn't claim responsibility for Benue killings, Oyema says. And Nigeria in danger, needs urgent attention, Falana says. And ASU threatens strike by month end over payroll system. And that's what we have on the cover of the Vanguard.
I think we still have time for the Daily Sun. It says here, Pastor Bakare attacks Tinubu. You must give account, he tells ex-Lagos governor. On Anambra 2021, Abga can't intimidate us, says PDP. ASU threatens to strike over federal government's insistence on IPPIS. Controversy as Supreme Court panel hears Atiku PDP's appeal. Exit of 109 companies unsettles capital market. Page 21 has more on that. And that's how we wrap it on the Daily Sun.
That's looks like it's time for Nigerian Tribune. And Buhari versus Atiku, Supreme Court to hear 66 grounds of appeal on October 30th. That's this Wednesday. And Kogi Bayelsa 2019. Can JNI warn INEC security agencies not to compromise Kogi poll? How PDP will win Bayelsa global poll, Dixon says. Serap, writes finance minister, demands details of failed CCTV projects. And EFCC budgets 228 million naira in 2020 to fence 101 hectares of land. Health Ministry budgets 234 million to engage diaspora doctors and nurses. And Sex for Marks, Adeboye to hold special prayers for lecturers and students. That story is on page 2. And IPPIS, federal government testing our resolve. Don't blame us for strike, ASU says. And then Tafawa Balewa's last surviving wife. Wow, Tafawa Balewa. Jumai dies in Lagos at 85. Border closure may affect Lagos trade fair, LCCI says. And I think that's about all that we can take on the cover of the Nigerian Tribune this Monday morning.
Yeah, quite a lot of interesting stories.
Loaded with stories.
All the papers this morning. It was an eventful weekend. But with that, we have to take a quick break. And we'll be back with the traffic situation in Lagos.
Good morning and thank you for staying tuned. It is time for the Lagos traffic updates on Wake Up Nigeria. And this morning we will be starting from the Oro-Shoki axis. However, I need you to please note that you can always be a part of this segment simply by sending a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or even on Twitter to let us know what the traffic situation is wherever you are. And perhaps take a traffic selfie, not while you're driving though. And don't forget to use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. All right, so this morning, as I stated earlier, we will begin from Oro-Shoki bus stop. I think I'll just take it from Iyano-Woro. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we're going to start off from Iyano-Woro axis, and then that will lead us straight to Obalende on that bridge. So from Iyano-Woro bus stop, light traffic Mind you, it's deceptive if you're on that axis right now. In fact, it's a freeway from Yanowuru heading towards the Third Mainland Bridge. Don't be deceived, though. Shortly after passing that axis, the traffic begins to build up. The gridlock lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes, and afterwards it eases out to light traffic, after which it becomes free-flowing traffic. Now, that free-flowing traffic will continue for a very long time until you get on the bridge. Now, as soon as you're on the Third Mainland Bridge, the traffic becomes light. That's it building up. And just as you are approaching the Akoka axis of the Third Mainland Bridge, the gridlock begins, and it's instant. I'm not kidding. It goes all the way through Unilag, through Iwaya, through, in fact, today's traffic, as they say, it's high rapper. And that gridlock continues all the way till you get off the bridge. So basically, if you're passing the Third Mainland Bridge access, you need to be very patient this morning. There is a lot of traffic, and it will take you just about an hour, 20 minutes to get to Obalinde Bridge, okay? So if you're just setting out now, plus or minus from Yanowuru, as soon as you get to the Yanowuru access, just keep in mind that it will take you about an hour, 20 minutes to get to your destination, all right? Now let's move away from there to the Mushin axis. Talking about coming from Ile-Epo to Mushin, all right? If you're just setting out right now, keep in mind that it will take you about an hour, 10 minutes to get to Mushin bus stop from Ile-Epo. Now, here's how it goes. Coming out from Ile-Epo, there's light traffic, okay, but only for a short while. Just before you get to where the Zenith Bank is, the traffic lightens, and then it's free-flowing through N50 all the way till you're approaching Pleasure bus stop. Now, when you're close to Pleasure bus stop, that's where the traffic begins to build up again. There's light traffic at that axis, after which it eases out to free-flowing traffic. Approaching Iyano-Ipaja, however, there is traffic, light traffic, as you're heading towards the bridge. That's the Iyano-Ipaja bridge. And then just before the bridge, the gridlock starts. And it's bumper to fender traffic till you get to under the bridge. As soon as you pass that intersection through which people coming from Ipaja connect to the expressway, the traffic eases out instantly. I mean, there's no light traffic, it just immediately becomes free-flowing traffic. And that free-flowing traffic continues for a very long while. In fact, all through Iyano. So it's only when you are approaching Dokwemu, the traffic starts to build up, and then just at that intersection where people can turn to go towards Egbeda, that intersection, that's where the gridlock starts. And that gridlock continues all through on that bridge until you're past that intersection. Those coming from Egbeda connect to the expressway as well. That's where the traffic instantly lightens again. Free-flowing traffic, I tell you. And that free-flowing traffic continues for quite a while until you are past Valley Estate. Now, as soon as you're past Valley Estate, just around the cement axis, that's where the traffic starts, okay? And it's light traffic. My goodness. That light traffic continues for a while, a very long while. In fact, as you're approaching Mangoro axis is where the gridlock starts again. And so it's bumper to fender traffic from Mangoro axis all the way to Ikeja. I don't think you heard me. It's bumper to fender traffic from Mangoro. It really is that bad this morning. Normally, the traffic starts from Ile-Ezik, but that's not the case this morning. That gridlock starts all the way from just after Mangoro bus stop, and it goes on till you get to Ikeja Bridge. Not the pedestrian bridge at Ikeja along, but Ikeja on that bridge proper, okay? When you pass that intersection where the vehicles turn to the airport is where the traffic lightens and then eases out, free-flowing traffic mostly. Of course, at Oshodi, you experience the usual traffic gridlock from Arena, after which, of course, is free-flowing till you get to Mushin bus stop. So, whatever the case may be this morning, I'm sure you have a smooth journey. Remember to have consideration for other road users, be at alert, and be very patient. Yeah, patience saves you a lot of time. I'm going to join the guys in the kitchen right now. I'm sure there's a gist or two for you.
Golf clap for Mary.
Soon enough, we'll be having Mary in uniform.
I said, Mary, I'll do traffic for you. Even if there's hold up between Claire, why not? So you just need to maybe just start up one podcast, live podcast, traffic in Lagos. You will see. I will be your manager. Live podcast, traffic in Lagos. Seriously, I'm serious. Live podcast, traffic in Lagos, and then just tune into Lady O, Mary Channel, and Paul. Say, please, seriously, it will make sense. It will make sense. It will make sense.
Good
so,
one, good one.
I wanted to mention something. I was listening to Trump's speech after where he announced the death of al-Baghdadi, the IS leader. And okay, so the issue many people have with him is the way he did it. Which, of course, you know he always wants to be dramatic about how he does.
And just gloat over
it. The way he did it. Exactly. Which, look, he did it, give him his own due. But because we've not yet seen the video, I don't know if we'll ever see it. But I just want to make a reference to Osama, the video. I don't know if any of you have seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So I saw this documentary, Commander-in-Chief. Man, like, being a president is not an easy job. So there was, on the day, so there was this, he took the backstory on the day when he ordered the hit, when it happened, there was a banquet, there was something in the White House. You need to see, he was under so much pressure. There was so many things. He had to call that hit. They had to go into, I think it was Pakistan, and they didn't have, they were going over international airspace. They didn't have the license to fly over that airspace.
Yes. They didn't tell the Pakistani government.
I didn't tell the Pakistani government. So if the Pakistani government had shot at them, nothing. You understand? Not like it was well within their rights. They had to go with 2 Black Hawks. So 3 months up until that operation, for every day, the SEALs that carried out the operation, every day they recreated the compound in the US and were rehearsing that thing every day, every night. For 3 months. They were rehearsing 1 Black Hawk. They went with 2. Actually, one went down. One couldn't leave there. Something happened. There was an issue, and they had to take in the second block. So, but it would take a long time to go through all of it. But man, like I was watching, you didn't see goosebumps. So I was watching this thing. So they were in the bunker, the SEAL bunker in the White House, downstairs and all that. So they were watching it live as the operation was going on. Man.
And you know something really scary about this thing is that when the thing happened, it was so easy that people were like, "Are you sure?" As if even they in the White House, "Are you sure it is him you got?" Because even tried. There are conflicting reports. Some people say, some people might want to take glory now. Some people say, "Oh, he was trying to use his." One of his wives as a human shield. Some people said the wife was the one trying to protect him. One soldier even claimed he was the one that shot him to death. Meanwhile, it wasn't the case. He had been shot from the door. So it's just a case of so many versions of the story.
The issue is, it's a very delicate thing. When someone dies, it's still someone that passed on because of an order you gave. Yes. So the way Trump reported it,
it was
having
a little bit,
edge of gloating at all, you have to remember that it was still a human being that was,
I know agree.
One. Two, there's if you put the 2 videos side by side, Obama's speech and Trump's speech, the difference is so clear. Obama was so calm and sober, even though it was a time for America to celebrate, he was still very calm and sober about it, so I don't know. I'm not sure if...
even the day of 9/11, if President Bush was actually at a book reading session with school children.
When
that 9/11 incident took place. So it was like reading books to... Do we have that here? But it was like reading books to children and just a small read a book session kind of stuff when the incident took place. So it was like everybody having their normal lives. Even some business associates of the Bin Laden family had a meeting with the president that same day. But it was unconnected because the Bin Laden family are known to have so many businesses around.
It's a billionaire family.
So, but talk about personally, do you think, I don't know, for me, like Titi said, I'll defer with her on that one. Look, this is someone that's caused so much pain. And let's put it out. When some people want closure, it's joy to them. When something has caused so much pain. But do you think he went overboard? I don't think he really did. Do you think he went overboard?
The thing is, we know Trump might not be someone who is so touchy with feelings. But I think because someone needed to get it done, he had to just come and say it. But I don't think he's so cold to not feel it. Maybe at the moment the news came, he may have said, oh, cool, but he would have felt it.
Yeah.
But when he's giving the news, he has to keep the image which he has given us, that he's Trump, that doesn't have the feelings.
Exactly.
But I'm sure he cannot be
because
so cold.
He's a showman. You know, Trump is a showman, and he wants things that will trend. So if he says al-Baghdadi died like a dog and a coward, it's because he knows that it's going to trend. Because he said
he's a producer. He's a producer.
Exactly.
That man is a PR.
So he said saying, because Obama didn't say that, even though Bin Laden actually had more impact on the U.S. because he actually carried out an attack on U.S. soil. Baghdadi is, he catches one American here, beheads him, that kind of thing. So his attacks weren't directed at the U.S., just in Iraq, Syria, and the rest of them.
And it's actually been reported by several sources that, especially even the American forces, that he could have been captured alive. That's for Bin Laden.
Okay.
He could have been captured alive, but it was a case of they were probably thinking the man had chance for them not to have caught him for so long.
I can still remember someone saying, that even if he was to be taken somewhere for trial, and then he would have likely been put to death, but on, in a more celebratory or more ceremonious way. But they didn't want to create a shrine to him.
And they didn't want to make him a martyr.
And make him a martyr. That's what they said.
At that point, like when the person had the shot, he had to give the order. I'm talking about Bin Laden now and all of that. Okay. And so at that time, they were, you remember Gaddafi, when the issues when if you hesitate, these guys could find one hole somewhere and move. They didn't have the chance to,
it's true.
We don't get this guy.
Wow. Oh my.
Anyway, on other news, Tiwa Savage and Whiskey were trending yesterday. I'm just saying.
Makes sense.
So this was after church and...
Wow.
Really now?
Really, Yomi?
Yeah.
Please, let's go on.
And on that
Stay with us.
note, we have to take a break.
So behind set, it's really getting heated here. And of course, it has to do with Whiskey and Tiwa. But hey, we'll get to that at the top of the hour. Let's take a look at updates making the rounds in the tech world. Now, Twitter says more than 50% of tweets identified, now this one is big, as abusive are now being flagged by its automated moderation tools, first and taken down before a user reports them. Calm down. Now, what happens is that sometimes your tweets will not even have to be reported before they are taken down. Now, improvements in its machine learning model for identifying problematic tweets enabled the faster moderation, Twitter said. Now, cracking down on abusive tweets has been an ongoing goal of Twitter's. The company regularly, talks about how one of our highest priorities is to improve the health of the public conversation on Twitter, as its earnings letter says last week. Now, ongoing abuse has made Twitter an unpleasant place to be for many long-time and highly active users. So its ability to cut down on bad actors is important to the site's usage and user growth. Now, Twitter says its automated flagging has grown from 43% of all abusive tweets last quarter and 38% the quarter before that. To be clear, this doesn't represent every single abusive tweet on Twitter, just the ones that Twitter has ultimately removed as abusive. A problematic tweet that Twitter either missed or ultimately chose not to remove wouldn't count, while a tweet that was mistakenly removed as abuse would. Now, this is quite interesting. A number of people have spoken about how savage Twitter is. Because of its short messaging format, it's easy to be it's easy to be very toxic on Twitter, and so there are calls, and that is what they are doing, putting in these calls, ensuring that, hey, Twitter is a more healthier place for people to relate. But hey, come on, if you're out there on Twitter world, try not to let those things get to you. I'll talk about that some other time. But then, hey, let's move on to entertainment on tech. Now, Disney Plus is making a more compelling case for itself, seemingly by the day as it nears its release date. In yet another impressive reveal about the service, Walt Disney Company chief Bob Iger said that the enormous soon-to-be-launched streaming service will allow users to keep content on their devices even after it leaves the streaming service. But as an update to this story, a Disney spokesperson replying to Gizmodo's request for confirmation stated that Disney CEO Bob Iger's comments were misinterpreted when he said if you are a subscriber, you can download it and put it on a device, and it will stay on that device as long as you continue to subscribe. According to the spokesperson, some films on the Disney Plus service will go away at certain times and be unavailable to subscribers even if they've downloaded the file. The spokesperson did indicate that some titles will be available in perpetuity to subscribers who elect to download the content on their devices. Now, but Disney was unclear about whether this simply means you'll be able to download whatever content is available on the service at a given time. Now, they've been reached out for further clarification and will update whenever that clarification comes through. So there you have it, of course. Netflix, these people are gearing for competition, and Disney Plus is doing all they can to ensure that they get as much subscribers as they can. Now, this is one that would interest you if you use a phone, and definitely almost everybody, and if you use an Android phone. Security researchers have found dozens of Android apps in the Google Play Store serving ads to unsuspecting victims as a part of a money-making scheme. Now, ESET, you know them, the researchers found 42 apps containing adware, which they say have been downloaded more than 8 million times since they first debuted in July 2018. Now, these apps look normal, but act sneakily. Now, once an unsuspecting user installs an adware-infected app, the app will serve full-screen ads on the device's display at semi-random intervals. Now, often the apps will delete their shortcut icon, making it more difficult to remove. The adware-infected apps will also mimic Facebook and Google's apps to avoid suspicion, likely as a way to detract from the actual ad-serving app and keep the app on the device for as long as possible. Now, in the background, the apps were also sending back data about the user's device, including if certain apps are installed and if the device allows apps from non-App Store sources, which could be used to install more malicious software on the device. The adware functionality is the same in all the apps we analyzed, said Lucas Stefanko, one of ESET's security researchers. The researchers also found that the apps would check to see if an affected device was connected to Google's servers in an effort to prevent detection. Now, if the apps think they are being tested by Google's Play security mechanisms, which ostensibly keep the App Store free from malicious apps, the adware payload will not be triggered. Now, some of these apps, listen to them, include Video Downloader Master, which had over 5 million downloads, and Ringtone Maker Pro, Save Insta, and Tank Classic, which had over 500,000 downloads each. Now, the researchers say a Vietnamese college student may be behind the adware campaign. I'm hearing some hmms in the background. Yes, if you use Android. Now, this is what happens for iOS. What happens is that the security there is more, it's more, inclusive. Like it's a more tighter security. But for Android, you need to ensure that you are the most secure person. You take care of your own security yourself. How do you do this? Ensure before you download an app, check out the reviews, check out how many stars it has, and read the reviews. Ensure that this is an app that is safe for you to use. Now, with these ones that put up adware, they send the information from your phone. Like, they can access your phone from your pictures to your videos. Two, the most important, your financial information like your card and all of that. So do be careful. Read out the reviews for apps. Don't just download anything. Don't just download anything. Make sure you check out that these ones are security, compliant for you to use. That's all on Tech this Monday morning. We have a performance coming up, looking for how to kickstart that, but Titi has the update on that one.
Thank you, Mike. Now, it's just so amazing that it could be one small Vietnamese boy doing all this damage, that hundreds of, millions of people are, downloading apps because of him. But you know what? Away from tech now, we're heading over to music. We have a young, talented artist from Oyo State, Alao Ibrahim Ishola, popularly known as Ibradoski. And he is going to perform one of his songs titled Work. Please use the microphone. How far?
I'm good, man.
Almost.
Good, man.
So, Work. That's the name of the song?
Yeah.
All right, so you're about to perform now. Are you set?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay, take it away.
Challenges upon me, but more to face it. Make people want the glory. I'm a con, I'm a phone, and Bejica, so if you go on,
Welcome back. We are still here to give you a good time. 1 hour's gone by already. We've had lots of fun. We've been here since 6 a.m.
Now, wherever you're watching us from this morning, whether you're at home, trying to get to work, or maybe you're already at work, I want to say a big thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for joining us on the first edition of Wake Up Nigeria this week. My name is Yomi Hope.
And I'm Titilayo Onyinson. We're live streaming right now. That's TVC Entertainment.tv, and of course on Facebook Live at TVC Connect. Those comments you send in, you tell us how good we look, you know. Hey, I love those comments. Yeah. Please send them in all the social media platforms you can.
So what is this? Is this a wrap dress or a long dress?
It's actually a double-breasted dress. You're wearing a double-breasted jacket.
Oh yeah.
I'm wearing a double-breasted dress. Yeah,
okay,
so it's trying to do the suit thing. It's
yeah,
nice.
I should have worn like a red thing.
I need maybe next time.
Anyway, we have an app available for you for download, both on the Android and iOS stores, so check it out. And yeah, this app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world.
Yes, so now we never do this without our amazing chefs. We have another enjoyable recipe. Standing by, our chef is in the kitchen with Tokwe.
And she's going to be firing up the gas in a few minutes.
Yomi, I am coming for you. Yomi, this is the second time you're pranking me. Oh. When I come for you, don't be surprised.
Yeah, we're going to locate where that gas cylinder is.
Yeah, so imagine Yomi telling her that she has to put on the gas when he knows we use an electric hot plate. I'm just like,
it's
really,
it's a whole month of pranks.
Why?
for Tokwe. And Tokwe, you never know where it's coming from.
Wow.
You know, it's just going to be...
Wow. Try it, Yomi, because when I come, I don't know what I'm bringing, but I'll bring something for you.
Whole month of pranks for you.
Moving on with the show.
Yeah, we have a feature from Odumaking, and trust us, you don't want to miss this one.
Really nice.
Meet Joe.
We also have another musical performance coming your way. Nigerian rap artist Akinfele. He's not afraid of a rap battle, I can tell you that. He's already in the building.
Lord bless you. Now bless. Allah bless you. Allah Akbar.
It's possible to make millions, and believe it or not, millions before the end of 2019. Millions of dollars, naira, pounds, whatever it is. And yeah, so stick around and find out how you can do this. Jimmy Tewe is going to be giving us some Monday motivation.
As always on Mondays, we have Auto Care. Ayo Shofela will be back telling us the telltale signs you need to identify a flooded vehicle. Now, that's on car maintenance today. You need to wait for that one.
Yeah. Now, for SME, this week, founders of Auto Sparkle, Genesis and Jesse on Nomi War will be joining us on the show.
All right.
So yeah, whiskey, Tiwa.
Whiskey and Tiwa.
Oh God.
Yomi, you all need to address Yomi. I'm not taking this. Did you see what Yomi did to me?
What did you do?
So he's like, I need to turn on the gas. And I'm like, oh, okay, where? And then he's like, open the cupboard. No, not that one, the next one.
How does Yomi too much? How does he tell you he's going to prank you a week ahead? And he still does it. Baba, your head is there.
Honestly, I was just like, when I heard gas.
When he told you he was going to prank you last week, he told you. He said it on air. Look, he said it.
Wait. These two ladies here didn't save you. They didn't support. They were listening to me.
So wait, Mike, I wish you were here. So he kept saying the gas. So you know there are always new changes in the kitchen.
They got you too late.
Exactly. So we're thinking, okay, maybe there's one gas that we don't know of.
You see
so
the team, maybe. It's because of Arsenal support that is doing this thing.
Oh wow!
If you're supporting Liverpool, you won't be. Yomi won't catch you like this. It's Arsenal. It's because of this
Yomi,
thing.
don't hold me back. Let me deal with this guy.
When your captain talking to you anyhow, you will not. You again.
What do you say? Is that we will beat up?
Wait. So sorry, Mike and Tokwe, we didn't get this orange memo.
I thought
it was part of it.
This is not orange now.
No, I'm not.
This is not orange.
Let me shift.
It's what?
This is not orange.
What?
You need to ensure that. Do these ladies need some? This is not orange now. This is fuchsia cyan.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's a Brighton cockroach.
But you know.
The Brighton cockroach.
You know,
I've
like
heard
you
it
see,
all.
so in green there's WhatsApp green, there's
really?
there's
Twitter blue.
No, there's green, there's Nigerian green, there's flag green, you know, there's even
green.
you understand, there's even Algeria green. They're all different. So
Wow.
you can't
You are wearing orange.
He's wearing-
in fact,
he's wearing Brighton cockroach.
there's a word for this particular.
No, this is not bird.
There's a
something
word
we're
in my
supposed to be
head.
gisting about.
for-
Yes, let's talk
Wizkid
about
and,
Wizkid and
Wizkid and Tiwa had a
moment.
You know, but there was a concert, you know, Wizkid and Tiwa live in Paris.
Yeah.
And that place was packed, you know, and then the only thing that was online wasn't, you know, performance of a particular song. It was a particular smooch.
That never happened. I saw another angle of that video.
So it could have been a, you know, proper, you know, stagecraft that was planned to trend, and it worked.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
that was
that
planned,
could be
it
what it
not
was.
planned. The point is that Tiwa even responded that it bomb home. It's very soft.
Wow.
She responded straight up.
Mike,
Did you
it's
just
8 a.m.
Did you
in
just
the
say
morning.
that on national TV?
Is it 8? It's even 7. It's still too early.
I said, well, no.
An excellent morning to you again. Now it is time for us to start cooking already. Chef Adane will be making
yam porridge today.
Okay, now that's so African and this looks so colorful. So you're going to take me through what we're doing this morning.
Okay, this is the already peeled and cut diced yam.
Yam, okay.
So, okay, I'm using smoked fish.
Okay.
Because it adds flavor to it. Then
Okay.
this is blended pepper with an onion. That's my palm oil. I have salt, seasoning cube, and vegetable.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any particular vegetable or any vegetable for those at home?
I prefer using pumpkin leaf.
Okay.
Okay, so because I'm used to it. But you can also use another vegetable called green. So you can just interchange them, but anytime that you want.
Okay. So what's going on fire there?
Okay, I'm going to switch on the fire. I just have water.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to add the yam.
Okay.
And I'll allow it to just boil for...
For like how many minutes now?
Just 2 minutes.
Okay.
Then, okay.
Ooh, Okay.
Okay, I'm going to just cover it and allow it for just 2 minutes.
Okay, so it's boil for just 2 minutes.
Yes, then I can add my seasoning, the salt,
So this
the
is
pepper.
all that will require to make this. So this is like a budget breakfast.
Yes. It's an easy meal to prepare.
Yeah.
So immediately everything is prepped. So
Okay.
just put 2 minutes, 10, 15 max, and we're done.
Okay, so now for the benefits of those at home, we have smoked fish, right? This is smoked
Yes.
fish, and we have tomatoes, pepper.
No, pepper and onion.
Just pepper and onions, pumpkin leaf,
palm oil,
oil.
salt. Then I'm going to be adding a secret ingredient that I won't tell anybody.
Okay, but for the benefits of those at home, the ingredients are on your screen now, so you can quickly take it down if you want to prepare your own yam porridge at home.
Yes.
Okay. All right then. So
we're just going to allow it.
We're going to go and come back after 2 minutes when the yam starts to cook, and then we get all our ingredients ready. Now it's time to take a commercial break, and there's so much more fun happening here when we come back.
People united can never be defeated. Do you believe that?
Meet Joe Odumaki, a woman who never does anything by half. Her personal take on life is anything worth doing is worth doing well. Or in more contemporary parlance, go hard or go home.
It takes passion, commitment, determination, and there are a lot of hurdles. If one is not determined, then one will drop by the wayside.
Born in Zaria, Kaduna in 1966, all she ever wanted was to serve in the seminary as a nun.
My parents were staunch Catholics. I so much love God It was then that I picked up a phone. Mom saw me because my dad was in the UK. My dad then returned after about 2 or 3 months and then said, young girl, you still want to be a nun? I said, yes, Dad. He said, not only will I disown you, but I'll print your obituary that you are dead. So when people see you, they think you are spirit, they start running. The next day, I just told my dad, I said, well, I want to face my education. I no longer want to be a nun. And it was good news for him, so he took me to Kwara State Polytechnic.
But an uncompromising father and a chance happening upon a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. put paid to that and set her on another path in life.
At the university, a lecturer discovered that somebody scored very high marks in her tests. Measured my matriculation number, I went to see her. So she gave me one book to read. I read it. One quotation changed my life. And that is the one autobiography of Martin Luther King that says, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And that was how that quotation wired me up. And I said, military dictatorship, I see injustice. So I felt that I could do a lot more if I'm engaged in this struggle.
As a women's rights activist and president of the Women Rise for Change initiative and the Campaign for Democracy, there's no room for selfishness in the life that she leads. But even she will tell you that nothing should make a woman compromise on the home front.
Marriage is not competition, but to complement each other. My mom has told me that if I fail in one, I can fail in all. When a child is growing, the parents are the first role model. Some of the failures we have seen, some parents are career women, they don't have time for their children, they leave them at the mercy of house helps. They don't even know when the group, the people, they leave friends, they have some gangs. Parents don't even know their children. Seeing how my parents have made me who I am, I'll be a failure if I don't really positively affect my immediate environment. So balancing is very, very important.
For being a loud voice and a ray of hope for the helpless, she's had to pay her price. But the restoration of voice to the voiceless and every battle won has been more than enough consolation. And the world has been watching, even Michelle Obama when she was FLOTUS.
I set out doing all what I'm doing, not knowing anyone is taking special notes. But before I knew it, I started having awards on awards upon awards. As I speak today, I have 597 awards. And so 2013, I just got a mail. I should proceed the following day to the US Embassy with my passport. And I got there, congratulated me that I've won International Woman of Courage Award. But I don't need to tell anyone. When I get to Washington, D.C., I'll be told. So getting there on March 8th, I got in to where I was to receive the award. And the then U.S. Secretary of State, John Kerry, came in with the then First Lady of the United States of America, Michelle Obama. It was one of the high points of my life.
During the past 20 years in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin has handled more than 2,000 cases of government security agencies violating women's rights. These cases include everything from negligence to assault and killings. For exceptional courage, strength, and leadership in tirelessly advocating for human rights, social justice, and women's equality and advancement in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin is a woman of courage.
We are not all meant to change the world, but you never know until you try. And if Joe Odumakin does not inspire to go out there and serve humanity, we don't know what will.
Revolution! Women arise! Revolution! Revolution! Women arise!
So I just found out that even having to keep away from some of the activities happening for the fear of being killed, that is not worth it. One should give all that one has to the struggle. So anywhere that I find myself in the field of activism, I ensure that I put in my best, and that's the passion.
What are we saying? Recover our news. What are we demanding? Recover our news.
All right, thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Wake Up Nigeria, of course. Interesting that was. All right, it's time for the second performance for today, and it's by Akinfele.
Yeah.
You might be deceived that it's Akinfela by the spelling, but no, it's Akinfele. That's how he pronounces it. Now, he is a Nigerian rap artist who has been doing music for 3 years now. In 2016, his single, Bless, which speaks about xenophobia and religion, got nominated as the best rap single on Top Niger Music Awards. He has also released 2 EPs, which you mixed and mastered yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. Now, Akinfele fears no rap battle, as he has battled with, wait for it, Vector the Viper. So who won? Don't worry, we already know who won. Great to have you here, Akinfele. You're really good when it comes to rap music. Fantastic stuff. I know you've been doing music for a very long time, though you decided to go professional 3 years ago. Why did you decide that, okay, this is what I would like to do for the rest of my life, or at least most of it? Why did you decide?
I've always loved music. You know, that's like my first love.
Okay.
So I just felt like, why don't I just put my life into this and just go for it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you decided to make it go professional with
Yeah.
it. Now, music industry in Nigeria can be really funny. But what has it been like for you?
Very challenging.
Okay.
There are ups and downs, but you have to just keep pushing, you know. Everyone goes through their own struggles, you know. I'm not going to come here and act like, yo, I'm the most holiest or anything. Nah, I go through my own struggles, but it just makes sense when you can go past it, you know, and make something for yourself.
Now, you know something, Akinfele? I have so many questions. I'm burning with questions for you. But you know what? There's a freestyle you were doing earlier that I want you to just do quickly right now. Let's go.
Where's the camera?
Don't worry, just take anyone. Just show me.
She dropped some money in my bank account so I can brag about how fat my pocket is when I'm around you. And the way we live in, saving all these moments for another day. Yesterday's dead and gone, so I make another way. I stay rapping every time I'm killing. I'd rather slay your kings and kiss your queens. I know Aries thinks that he has blings. I know MI feels that he QV. Please, the words we speak are real life things. I want to hear your pain, so pull those strings. I've broken so many careers for a humble king. The country's so messed up, but we gotta stay happy. Think about the way we live in. Everybody be sleeping. My mama calling me on the phone, but I'm in the studio cooking. The NSCV class gave me a wild card before the radio show. Everyone knows that. So you over there watching me closely, I like to know what's next for you, broski.
Nice, fantastic. And yet Vector still beat you. But it's all right. You're really good. You're really good, I have to tell you. He has years of experience, so don't let it put you down.
Sure.
You're really, really good. I like your rhymes. I like the way you go the da, 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 da. Okay, so let's take it away. What are you performing?
It's a new song titled Joy.
Joy.
It's going to be out on iTunes and every other store on the 16th of November.
Okay, that's nice. I can't wait to hear it. So take it away.
Purchase it.
Okay, we will purchase it, and of course we'll hear it. So take it away.
Mess up, just look up. You know they prep me up in the right way. Bless up, no mess up, just look up. You know the system wanna fuck up my day. Got the game, I can't play, I gotta play safe. Everybody battles with the same things. Tell me one reason why you hate me. You should get to know me, then you love me. Yeah, I'm too jiggy, gotta stay winning.
It's the final week in the month of October, and believe it or not, there's just about 8 weeks left till the end of the year. Now, Jimmy Tewe is a seasoned career catalyst, success catalyst, motivation speaker, and CEO of Inspiro Consulting. Now, he has requisite experience and knowledge to give you a career boost. Today, he's here to motivate us and give us tips on how to make your first million. Well, make your first million or several millions before the end of 2019. And that's amazing. If somebody can give you that kind of promise that, yeah, you definitely can make some millions before the end of the year. So we have 8 weeks left, Jimmy. And throughout this month of October, we've been talking about maximizing the rest of the year.
Sure.
when we started this month, it was 12 weeks to the end of the year.
Exactly.
Now it's 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about money. How do we start? If I'm thinking, I'm sitting at home, I'm a businessman or whatever it is, how do I even begin to comprehend making my first million if I haven't?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think the critical thing is there are two categories of people. There are people that don't have a business at the moment, and there are people that have a business. So let's talk about people that have a business. You have a product or a service. Now again, the first thing I always do is to check your current performance with the product or service. How well are you doing? Now, I also check your market. I ask questions that, is there sufficient market for the business? You find some people, for example, based on their location, it's not sufficient, and that already is a problem. So I tell people that in that instance, what you need to do is one of two things. Either change your product for the market available to you, or change where you are and move closer to where your market is. The fact about it is that we have 8 weeks to the end of the year. It therefore means that if you want to make $1 million, you probably have to make 125,000 naira every single week. So if you have 5 days a week, it means you have to make 25,000 naira per day. It's pretty simple.
Wow.
Exactly. So if you
that
make
kind of breakdown,
yes, exactly.
Put things into perspective.
Into perspective. So once you say you want to make 25,000, probably in sales per day, how much is your product? So if your product, for example, is 2,500, then you know that you need to sell about maybe, that's about 10? Yeah, 10. Exactly, per day. Now, that's the key thing that is there. First and foremost, there must be a product. There must be a market that needs that product. Then you must sell. Now, for you to sell, I'm not going to sell to 10 people and get 10. You're going to get probably more no's than yeses. And I find that this is one of the major challenges that people have. People expect that because I have a good product, people would see it and come for it. Now, sometimes that happens, but more often than not, that's not reality. So what people need to do is to be able to actively sit down to say, look, these are the clients that I need to get to. How do I contact them? Today's Monday. For example, for consulting, I typically don't call clients until after 12 because most of them have Monday morning meetings. I don't want to disturb them. And so I probably send them a text. All right, great. Have a great week. I'm looking forward to speaking to you in the afternoon and all that. But I make sure I make that call. When they're not picking, I make sure I go to their office. The fact about it is that a lot of people outsource sales. I was speaking at an event yesterday, and the guy said, I have 17 people that are doing sales for me. And I'm like, but wait, look at it. You are selling more than them. That's a problem. You need to hire people that are actually salespeople, not just people that go out for sales. They're two different things and all that. So I find that one of the biggest problems is that people have not thought through the whole process. Look at what we did now. From 1 million, we broke it down to 25,000 naira per day. And that way I can go out. So you tell yourself, I'm not going to eat until I've sold to 3 people. So you're doing cold calls. You are generating a new list of potential clients. You need to sell every single day.
So how about a situation where you've gotten to a point where it's like, you feel like you have a good product. There are some people who, maybe they don't necessarily have a good product, but they just have a feeling that maybe they've put in so much effort and they've invested a lot in this particular business. But now they're sitting on 100 or 1,000 or whatever products it is.
Inventory, exactly.
Inventory, and they don't know how to push it. And they're saying to themselves, look, if I don't move these things, I'm not going to start anything new or fresh. How do I then create a balance or become more... or maybe I begin to more amenable to change, especially in a situation where I'm facing something.
I think that's the main thing, really, because sometimes if you have a product that you designed but it's not for the right market, you might need to cut your losses. Why don't you think about selling off and recovering your capital and then starting again for a product? Now, this is December, we're approaching. There's going to be a lot of purchasing and things like that. And I teach business people, don't sell what you like, sell what people need. Sell what they're looking for and all that. And then maybe later you can now come up with your novel ideas and things like that. I have people that have published books and they say to me, oh, Jimmy, nobody's buying my books. I put it in this bookstore. Well, the problem is when they get to the bookstore, they don't know you, so they pass by your book every single time. But think about the area of influence you have. Who can I go to meet? Who can I sell to every single day? If I'm going to sell 25,000 naira per day, and my book is 1,500. I know how many, maybe about 30 people that I need to sell to that day. So I'm actively doing that. So when you find, for example, that the market is not responding right, it's either you are not rightly positioned for the market or the product is faulty, and you might need to make an adjustment in that regard. But please cut your losses early and move forward.
Let's talk about services. We've talked about products, that's physical things you can see, less plantain chips, whatever it is that you're doing. But what I do is a service. I mean, you are into consulting, so you'll understand this bit of it. So what I do is a service, and I want people to be able to purchase this service. Yeah. Not necessarily at 25,000 per day.
Oh, no, sure.
But obviously maybe per week,
exactly,
or every 2 weeks, or per month, whatever it is. But that's still my target, 1 million at the end of the year.
Yes.
How do I go about this?
All right, so let's take an example. I do training for organizations, and if you want to do $1 million, I probably organize like a public program, open events. So maybe someone says I train on customer service, for example. That's a service.
Yeah.
All right. What that means is that I need a class of, typically the class has about 25 people. So that means I need the costing is about 40,000 naira per person.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So again, the question is, who's going to pay me 40,000? Number one, who needs customer service? Number zero, do I have what it takes to deliver? Right. I think that's where it starts from. You must make sure the quality of your service is top-notch. You must benchmark with other organizations that are in the market also to see what is the difference you're bringing to the market. Once you're clear about that, that is the value proposition you're bringing to the table. Then you now need to say to yourself, for example, if it's going to cost me, the hall, the cost, all the different costs, but I need to sell 25 seats at 40,000 naira. What kind of clients need it? Where are they located? Who makes the decisions in those organizations? Then I have to go have a conversation with them. Maybe put together like a document or proposal, get it into the right hands, talk about it. Probably even what I do sometimes, I tell people that, do your price in such a way that is offered as a discount. The program is normally 5,000, but we're doing 40,000 naira, all right?
Jimmy, I've seen situations where, and I like that you're going in this direction of training, where most people will say we've exhausted our training budget. Now, I have a personal target of 1 million.
Exactly, yes.
I went to all these organizations and they're saying, no, come back next year.
I see the problem.
Come back next year. It's we're already almost in November.
Good.
We've expended all our training budget.
Yes.
But I feel like I can still make that 1 million. What are the things I can then say, you know what? Do I expand the number of companies I'm calling? Do I approach individuals directly? Like, how do I still ensure that I hit
as you just said that, the major challenge people have is the kind of people that tell you have exhausted our training budget are A-list companies, or maybe some billion. There are C-list companies that need it. They don't have a training plan. In the first instance, they are the guys that know, and you are able to give them, based on empirical information, the need for that customer service, and saying to them that, look, we're not just going to train you, we're going to be there to ensure there's performance. Those guys, and talk to the CEO of those companies, trust me, they're the ones that actually will give you 1 million naira, because if they can see how 1 million naira can generate 5 million for them, they're willing to do that. So I tell people that, look, Nigeria, more than 75% of the businesses are growing businesses, MSMEs or SMEs, and those CEOs are the ones that can make those decisions. Then walk up to them and sell to them. I would say you should do that. Tell them to send their front desk officer, the people that are in charge of customer service. They will be willing to do that more often than not. Don't go to the big boys who would probably have a process and have already exhausted the budget.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, it feels like everything that you're saying to us this morning is, it all begins with a plan.
Exactly.
Because the first thing we talked about was that if you broke down $1 million naira, you would probably be doing 25,000 naira per day. Yes. Then if you wanted to do a training like a one-off thing that gives you 1 million naira at a go, you probably again still have to plan.
Yes,
how do you break it down to ensure that you're covering all your costs and still making that one? So it really actually starts with a plan.
The plan.
So how does the plan begin? I sit down and what do I do?
All right. So what's the end in mind? So again, 1 million naira. But again, the question again is this: what are you offering? Every time you want value, you must give value. So your product or your service is actually how you get value. So you must define it. But the thing about every product has a market it can appeal to. Some people, I don't appeal to them because of the nature of the work that I do and all that. So I'm not wasting my time around them. So you want to be able to profile your customer, the clientele. It might be a niche market you're focused on and all that. Also look at yourself. What capacity do I have to reach those people? Okay, because sometimes people are reaching beyond where they are, and many times it's a struggle to even make the first sale. Once you're through with that, sit down and say to yourself, all right, what's my marketing plan? What's my sales plan? How am I going to go about it? I think that many times people work in their business and not on their business. And what that means is that they are active every single day, but they're not thinking back to say, look, this is not working. How can I change this? How can I change that? And then try new things, and then are able to move forward from there.
Wow, amazing. I hope someone is learning something. It feels like it's easy. Jimmy Taylor is making it look like it's easy to make $1 million before the end of the year. But it's possible.
Yes, exactly.
It starts with a plan. Offering something that is different, something that is really good. Make sure that you're at the top of your game when you're delivering it. And hopefully you'd have some testimonials at the end of the day. And tag him at Jimmy Taylor.
At Jimmy Taylor.
On Instagram, Twitter, and the rest. Anyway, we're heading back to the kitchen where something porridgey is taking place with Tokwe and our chef. Hey, guys.
Yes, we have something porridgey going on in the kitchen that we are definitely not sharing with Yomi because Yomi is my enemy for today. But Chef Adani, please tell us, how is it going?
Okay, we're done with the 2 minutes. So now I'm going to add, I'll add the pepper, the blended pepper and onion.
Okay. So if you're just joining us, Chef Adane is making yam porridge for us.
The fish now so that it can get into the yam and we'll have the taste. Then I'll just add some seasoning cubes. To taste.
So when you add all this, how many minutes do we leave it for?
For 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'll leave it for 5 minutes. I'll just stir, allow it to get to every part of the yam.
Okay. But do you get to reduce the water at any point, or you just leave it like that?
What I'm going to do, so that we'll have that thick liquid porridge.
Yes.
After 2 minutes, I'm going to mash some of the yam.
Oh, okay, okay.
So to get a
bit of a thickness.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And remember, I told you I'm going to add my crayfish.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's the special ingredient.
That's the special ingredient.
All right, she's giving us the special ingredient.
From Addis Food Mart. So it's special to my cooking. So I'm just going to cover and allow it just for 2 minutes. I'll add the crayfish and I'll mash it. Then we'll come back.
Okay, so let's leave it to cook for a few more minutes and then we'll come back with her special ingredient that we're going to taste. Okay, so we will be back and we have an amazing food to prepare for you all.
Welcome back to the third hour of Wake Up Nigeria. Now, this is to remind you that even the smallest thoughts you have the potential to become the biggest of successes. It's my prayer for you today that you're going to do very, very well in this new week. Anyway, we hope that you're enjoying the show so far. It's been 2 hours. We have about 45 minutes left to go. This is your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Yomi Ope. Now, you can stream with us live right now at tvcentertainment.tv. And of course, on Facebook at TVC Connect. Send in your comments across our social media platforms. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. Now, the TVC app is also available for download both on the Android and the iOS store. Now, this app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world. And we're going to be going straight to this morning's, the rest of this morning's highlights. It's going to be great. Now, first we have car maintenance. Aya Shofala is going to be here with us to talk to us about the signs you need for identifying a flooded vehicle. After that, we have founders of Auto Sparkle, Genesis and Jesse on Nomiwo, who are going to be joining us for an SME chat.
Yeah, I was going to. Okay.
Well, we're talking about money.
You know that we didn't mention that Bill Gates is now back to #1, right?
Yes. Yes, he's taking over from Bezos within hours.
Wow. So Bezos, Amazon lost some shares, and of course the divorce settlement.
Yes.
So you know, the divorce settlement was like 16% or so of the shares.
Yeah.
So if he still had those shares,
he'll
probably still be #1. Yeah. But the other shares just dropped, and Bill Gates is now #1.
Wow. You have to be careful when you are divorcing your wife.
No, it's not a problem.
Bezos has taken back. Bezos has taken
No. Bill Gates is still, it's not going to be that easy now. So the thing now is that he built the company with her. So it's not really, you know, he didn't feel so. In fact, some people are saying that she should even have gotten more.
Yeah, well.
You know?
Yeah, because they built it from scratch back in the 90s.
From scratch,
I remember
man.
Amazon in the
26
90s.
years together, man. That's not beans. Like, from
not
their
easy.
garage and all that, she was there with him.
Yeah.
So,
If it was a Nigerian, man, what would he do?
Yeah, it was a Nigerian man.
Bezos is back.
Wait.
It was in the news. It was Bill Gates took over, and then within hours, Bezos was back on top.
I guess it really
Yeah.
just depends. You know,
Yeah,
when people are
to
talking
stop.
in billions, when
Is
people are
it-
talking in billions, we should just really not really.
Is it,
Yeah, like really, like we have shares, like we're involved.
Is it true?
There's this guy that had that app that came in last week where you can, in Nigeria here, use your phone and, you know, blue chip shares. You can, you can buy them and all of that. So, you know, making it easy. You know, it's actually harder to access, you know, online channels as a Nigerian. So, but I've not really looked well at what he's about. What he's doing should be or is revolutionary. It will help us.
After, I'm
access.
sure I need the guys' contact. Quickly, let me just tell you guys
Access
what's
that kind
happening.
of thing.
Today is Plush Animal Lovers Day. That's for those who like all those cuddly teddy bears. Oh, see them.
You have one?
I do have one.
Oh, you have a puppy?
Yeah, no, she's not my puppy. Yeah, she's grown.
Oh.
And then
extra bone for her.
Animation Day.
Animation.
Yes.
Okay.
But the one that hits me the most is actually, we are actually in that month right now, and I'm surprised I haven't mentioned it earlier. We are in the month of mental health. It's Mental Health Month, and that is a big deal. October is almost over, but there are so many people who have serious mental health issues.
Of course.
And hopefully, we can understand and give them the aid they need.
All right, welcome to AutoCare, and Ayo is in the house. Ayo, how you doing? Correct. Okay, good. So we're still on a series of what to check out for when you want to get a new car, your car.
Exactly.
And obviously, maybe you're going for a second, fairly used car, not a brand new car. So, but today we're looking at cars that flooded, that have been flooded, right? Exactly. What's the disadvantage of buying a car that has been flooded? First of all,
you're going to spend, and keep spending money on it because you're not going to ever enjoy that car. Exactly. In this line of business, I've seen people that have bought flooded cars. They usually come in cheap.
Okay.
And then people jump at it because they feel like, wow, I'm getting a good deal. But at the end of the day, you end up spending more money. Because the flood is going to affect the chassis of the car. You're going to deal with rust. A whole lot of rust under the car where suspension parts cannot even stay properly anymore because of the rust. You're going to deal with corrosion as well. The bonnet area, that's the engine area, you're going to have a whole lot of issues there.
Okay, but before you go on, what is a flooded car? Or how does a car get flooded?
Okay. Now, we don't really have much flooded cars down here. A flooded car is a car that has actually been immersed in a whole lot of water. Now, when you have, for a long period, when you have cars abroad where you're parking the car, maybe in a car lot or your garage or something, and then you have floods happening, and then the water, is there for a long time.
So it's not like when you pass through a flood once or twice that the car gets
flooded. The kind
flooded.
of flooded cars I'm talking about are not the ones that happen here in Nigeria where you're going through maybe Lekki flood or something like that. It can only happen when maybe you parked your car at home and then it's sitting in water for like a long period of time.
All right, so let's look at it. So what are the telltale signs that you can look out for to show a car that is flooded?
First thing is rust.
Rust.
Always look out for rust. Now, areas where you can look out for rust are areas like the door here.
The door handle. So when you open the door, by the hinges that side there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, but the thing is, we have a lot of very crooked car dealers in Nigeria who would actually go the extra mile to spray that area.
Okay.
But if you have a good mechanic with you, they will be able to tell that this is a flooded car. Going under the car is also another way. The mechanic will go under and check the chassis. There's no way you want to hide that. There's no way.
You can't spray the chassis.
You can spray it, but you cannot hide everything. That's the truth.
So
if
you
you have a
mechanic,
mechanic,
with a good mechanic,
exactly,
you have to check it out. Even if they spray it, he can find out, right? Maybe you can scratch it or something and all that. Okay, but I know inside the car there are other ways that you can find out.
Usually the floor area, that's the carpet area, you have telltale signs, mold growing around the carpet.
Yes, mold, exactly.
The car dealers will not be able to remove the chair and then start cleaning all that area. So under the chairs, you'd have mold growing there. Okay. Then around the pillars, you'd have some slight telltale signs that water has been there. You know when water leaves a stain on something.
Exactly. You can see that.
Those stains there that this car has actually been flooded. I do not advise people to buy flooded cars. It is being penny wise and pound foolish.
So, a number of people go for accidented cars, right?
Yes.
But you're saying that flooding is even worse.
Flooded cars are worse. Accidented cars, you can have a panel beater, get the car back to shape for you. But for a flooded car, wires are going to be soaked in water. You know what happens when you have wires and water together? You're going to have corrosion around terminals. Some circuits will not work properly, short circuits here and there. So you just be going from one problem to another. Today the car is working fine. Tomorrow this is bad. You fix that, something else goes bad. You always be in a mechanic's workshop.
Wow. Wow, that's quite cool. So if perchance, like you said, so the whole thing is just to entirely avoid a flooded car.
Just avoid
There's
it.
nothing that you can do.
Nothing you can do.
Even what if you change the engine or something like that?
It's not about the engine,
It's
because most of the time water doesn't really sit
into the
inside
engine, right?
Your engine might actually be sound, but the wires are what always give problem. At the end of the day, I know a couple of people who ended up changing the complete wire harness, and that's like buying the entire wiring of the car. That's
wow. In cost, when you're looking at the cost of that, like what does the cost entail for that?
You're looking at from $500,000 upwards.
Wow.
Yes.
Just for it to ensure. Okay, so apart from, so we've said it here, looking inside, looking by the side, by the door pillars, and then looking at the chairs also. But you mentioned something that some people even change the chairs.
Some people will go as far as changing the upholstery in the car,
and all of that in
but
the car.
like I said, there are areas that you cannot hide.
That you cannot hide, no matter how careful the person wants to be. There's something that you can always check out. Like you said under the chairs. You'd have to move the chairs out and all that.
That's why I said go with a mechanic. I don't advise people to buy cars without you having a mechanic beside you.
Okay.
The mechanic knows what to look out for. He would definitely bend down under the car and tell you, okay, this area of the car. Then you don't even have to go too far sometimes. Around the tire area, these areas
exactly.
Here,
this
you
is
would
one.
see a whole lot
somewhere
of rust.
Here, like I know this kind of areas also. Somewhere here, when you look at it, I've seen quite a lot of cars that you see here. They are charred.
Exactly. You can just use your hand to pull off
and even see. And then you see some cars like that, and they tell you that those ones are there, no problem. So just by the tires here and all of that, they tell you that there's no problem. You can just let it pass and all of that. So that's somewhere you can also check, right? Okay. Is there any other thing? That's basically
the basic things that you see.
You would see, right?
Every other thing you won't see. When it comes to the wires, you can't tell.
You can't
just know that
you can't see inside,
one
right?
problem starts, another problem
picks up, another problem picks up. All right, but what I pick here from here now, the most important thing for you at home there is to understand that if you're going to get a car like this, go with a mechanic that you trust. That's number one. They will take you to places where they will see things that you would not see. But except they are working in league with the people that want to sell the car.
That's why I like what you said when you said a mechanic you trust. Because you have mechanics that I've actually gone to check a car for someone once, and the dealer was telling me, don't worry, just let him buy it, I'll settle you. So you have things like that.
Whoa! So if your mechanic want to use you and do so.
So you have to trust the mechanic.
The mechanic can go want to use you and do some James Bond. Just arrange your mechanic and all of that. That is very true. But last, I like what you said. Even while the mechanic is checking, you yourself can also check and say, okay, look at all these things. I can check the telltale signs. I can ensure that I don't get a car that is rusty or that was flooded and all of that. And yeah, so I mean, this is quite something. When we're talking about the topic, I say flooded car. How do you? So if you enter that leaky water now and all of that.
No, those are not flooded. Except maybe the car is sitting in that water for a long period of time.
And then talking about flooded cars and all that, let's talk. Can I mention something about the connection between flooding and ACs? Okay. Because now a number of people, is it advised when you're getting through water that's quite deep, you should turn off the ACs, right?
Yes.
Why so?
You should turn it off for one reason: the AC fan. The AC fan is going to be running at that period, and it's going to be picking up water and splashing to the upper area of the engine. Now, another thing is when you're going through flood, the condenser is at risk of picking up a whole lot of dirt. And when it gets blocked, your car is going to overheat. So,
normally, you're saying that the best thing to do is to turn off your AC.
Turn it off.
And let's talk about the speed of cars in flood. Why should you tone down? Why should you not fly through flood?
Hydroplaning is one reason. If you go too fast through water. I actually tried it. I think the rain that fell last was on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
I was driving a Tundra and I just decided to experiment and go fast. And the car actually shifted to one side. Yeah, it happened.
A Tundra. There's almost no car I know heavier than that. A Tundra is heavy.
It actually moved me to one side. So that's a risk you run when you are running to flood. You can actually have hydroplaning. That's when the tires don't grip the floor anymore. It now becomes a boat. that's floating on the water, so the water will carry you.
Which kind of water this girl go carry her car enter? You probably enter the Koredu River or something and you say it's not water, that's river. All right, thank you very much, Ayo. It's always great having you. Remember, whenever it's water, just be careful. Tone down, don't fly too fast. If you can pick a tundra, don't go and see your car and think that you're watching 007 and you can fly. But we're still talking about cars. This is quite interesting. I am going to listen to today's SME. Your man is the one going to handle today's SME. I'm looking forward to that one, of course. We're still going to be talking about cars. We'll be right back after this break.
Now, every Monday on the show, we like to bring you a thriving business and, of course, find out how they are doing in this economy. I have here with me Genesis and Jesse Onomiwo, the founders of Autosparkle, the Lagos-based innovative auto care services company that is taking the lead in combating climate change and reinforcing the maintenance culture in Africa. Now, these brothers started operations 9 years ago somewhere in Victoria Island as a strictly mobile waterless car wash company with an eco-conscious drive and determination to help people save water for better uses, starting with Nigeria. And they're joining us on the show today to tell us how it's been over the past 9 years. Wow. So, you know, every time we have SMEs on the show, we're talking to entrepreneurs, we always like to go into their minds. Like, the usual average individual wants to get a job, but you guys decided to start a business. So talk to us about 2010, 9 years ago. Let me start with Genesis.
All right, thank you for having us on the show. 2010, we had a drive to do something different that addresses a problem that we noticed in the Nigerian market. And that had to do with the way people care for their cars and the dedication they give to maintaining the interiors and of course the exteriors of their cars. So we started with Autosparkle waterless car wash in 2010. Widely known as My Autosparkle across social media, Autosparkle is the world's first and only waterless luxury car interior detailing service company with an option for interior, for engine detailing as well.
So talk to us about this waterless concept, because when you say waterless, because everything about a car or a car wash is about water. That's the traditional sense of it. When you think about a car wash, once you drive in, they just begin to spray your car with water, whether it's internal or external or in the engine. So so this concept of waterless is very novel. To talk to us about how that works. So maybe I should talk to Jesse.
Oh, okay. Basically, it's based on nanotechnology. It's a kind of chemistry that helps to, we have some special cleaning agents that have the power to lubricate stains and dirt on cars. By the time we apply them, they weaken the dirt. You understand? And then we have some special materials that we use to capture them. Yeah. But one thing interesting to note is that we've metamorphosed from waterless car washing to car detailing, as he explained, over a year ago. And that is because we discovered there was a strong need for extreme care for delicate interior of luxury cars, you understand? So we brought the waterless concept into taking care of luxury car interiors. And one thing to note is that most parts of the interior of cars are very delicate to the extent that continuous usage of water, for instance, on leather materials, weakens the leather. It begins to stiffen, and over time begins to break and tear apart.
I've noticed that about
exactly.
I've got leather seats as well.
Imagine
and noted that there are certain areas in the seats
begin to crack.
They begin to crack.
Yes.
So detailing, that's another concept that is new. So talk to us about how detailing works, Genesis.
So detailing essentially involves deep cleaning of the interior of the car, such that it restores the car to its original shine or near new state, like much more like when you first bought the car. It's a thorough process that takes about an average of 4 hours per car. So it's not something to gloss over. When you detail your car, you might not need to detail it again in another 3 to 6 months, depending on the frequency of usage. So it's advisable for car owners and those who care about, keeping the best state of the interiors of their cars.
Let's talk about the business, because again, this is 2010.
Yes.
Two brothers, they sat down together, they said, you know what, we need to start a business. We found a niche in the market. Nobody's doing this in Nigeria. Exactly. So let's start something, right? And the biggest fear actually is starting. Right. Did you require capital? Did you need an office? Who were your first clients? How did you make your first profit and things like that? Take us into part of this story.
Okay, so I'll just say a bit of it, and Jesse will also say a bit of the story. In 2010, we started with bankers in Victoria Island. We realized that most of the bankers spend a lot of their times in the office, and we thought that how do they get the time to go to the car wash? So we felt, take this service to them in their offices. And we started taking our services to bankers from Victoria Island to Ikeja. Actually, we started with Ikeja, then we moved to the island.
Victoria Island, yeah.
Exactly. So initially, there was this skepticism about the fact that, how would you wash a car without water? And at the same time, there was interest. The interest gave us the opportunity to demonstrate. And when we demonstrated, people started calling us and we started getting referrals. And the interesting thing is, till today, our business thrives majorly on referrals because of the
So somebody who used the service and then recommends.
And then people keep coming back as well.
Wow, that's amazing. You want to add to
Yes, basically, the level of excellence that comes with the interior detailing service we offer has given us a huge leverage. And like you mentioned, we get when we started then, we get people that would promise to refer and you wait forever and then
they don't refer.
But when we started detailing, we got people that were so impressed that on the spot we got referrals that converted immediately. You understand? So we found that in our way we've been making a huge difference, in
So obviously you guys started, when you started this in 2010, obviously you guys were the ones doing the work with your hands and all of that. How did you transfer this skill to people who now work with you and all of that? Were you able to do that effectively or did it take a while?
Oh, definitely. We were able to do it effectively because we have hands-on experience and understanding of how this works. So we give them intensive training when they come in. We give them orientation because we believe it's more about the mindset than about the manpower. So we give them the right orientation and we train them to be able to approach clients appropriately. And because we deal with high-level clients who are in the A class in society, so it's important that our staff are able to relate well with them. So we were able to do that effectively. Yes.
So that's a good thing. And of course, when you're talking about starting a new business, you're also talking about breaking even.
Yes.
So at what point were you guys then able, between 2010 when you started, were you guys able to say, you know what, we can do this 100%. We don't need to be doing any side gigs. This will pay all our bills. It will pay the rent. It will take care of everything.
Okay, that inflection point came recently. Actually, to note, between 2010 and now, we had a few breaks. Like, we restarted this business about 3 times.
Wow.
Yes, okay. Yes. But all those times we were stopping, our minds were still in it. We were thinking continuously, how do we do this better? So, I mean, within the last, say, 20 months, when we restarted, 20 to 22 months, we've been able to come to the point where what we were earning or generating in turnover those previous years, we could do them in multiples in just 1 month.
Wow.
So it's because we've been able to, we understand our target audience and we went for them. You understand? We are not targeting everybody. You understand? That actually made a difference in getting us to the point where we could break even.
One of the things that I know, your target audience, which is the A class in society, one of the things I know that is really, really important to them is trust.
Yes.
So if I'm welcoming somebody into my home or welcoming somebody into my car, I need to be able to trust the person 100%.
Yes.
If I forgot my iPhone, I need to be able to know that the iPhone is still there when you finish fixing my car. Or if I left maybe cash in the car and things like that. So how do you build trust? Of course, as individuals, you're the owners of the business, you don't want to lose your business, so obviously you're not going to steal anything. But how do you ensure that whoever comes into the company, you can also ensure that the customer will trust them too?
Okay, so it's interesting to know that when we started, and people saw the openness and the fact that they could trust us. We knew that trust will be the delicate material that our business will thrive on.
Yep.
So we do extra checks on the people we are hiring. And the interesting thing is we have people that have worked with us for over 2 years, and they know us. They are like family. So those ones have become supervisors over other people. So we are very particular about that area. But I should point out that the trust people had in us when we started was carried over from one customer to the other. From one. Don't forget, I told you that people refer us. So you refer people you trust and people you know, people you like, actually. So there is that like factor and there's that trust factor that we've carried on from the foundation of the business till this time. So it continues to work for us.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, once there's an incident, you know how it is. Just like there were referrals, they then tell one another. But that's amazing. I mean, this is a different kind of business that, I mean, usually we have people who have products and different things like that they sell. But this is an actual service. And, it's a niche area. And I wish you guys all the best.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully next time around, we're going to be talking about maybe new innovations that you have also in this industry as well. Anyway, so I've been talking with Genesis and Jesse, and it's an amazing thing. How can I find you on Instagram?
We are
Because I'm thinking maybe for when I get my Ferrari or my Porsche, and then get you guys to detail it for me every 6 months. Yeah.
We are at My Auto Sparkle on Instagram.
My Auto Sparkle.
Same thing with our website, www.myautosparkle.com.
Anyway, so since you guys have been here, I'm sure you've been smelling something in the kitchen. And so I'm going to take you over there now, where we'll sample it with our chef and talk about that as been. Please.
I didn't shine in my car because this thing should have been practical. That's why I was very, very expectant.
With petroleum jelly.
Luxury cars, Mike. They say luxury
It's
cars.
only luxury you do.
Yeah, basically.
Mine is luxury now. See, luxury is just semantics.
Let's have a seat.
Okay, so welcome to the kitchen.
Thank
we
you.
have Chef Adane here who prepared a very sumptuous and yummy breakfast for you both. I hope your appetites are high. Please, I have a notice. Do not in any way try to share with someone called Yummy.
All right, so Tokwe was with her in the kitchen.
Yes,
so tell us what was in the meal. Yeah.
Okay, so we have here pumpkin leaf, crayfish, really nice smelling crayfish. And then we also have yam and smoked fish as well.
Oh, wow.
So I hope you're in.
Yes, so please dig in.
Dig in. And don't share, please.
Thank you.
I don't know why Tokwe keeps
No, Yummy, we're not friends.
Why are you picking on me? It's Monday morning.
I and Yummy cannot be friends.
All right, so,
Okay, what do we think?
Wow.
So, is it sparkling?
It is
You could apply that to taste. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wonderful.
Love the taste of it.
All right,
Love the taste of it.
Great. It's great tasting.
Oh, thank you, Chef Adane.
And that's how we wrap it up on our Monday show this morning.
Yes, indeed. A big thank you to all our guests for joining us on the show today. And hopefully we're going to be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Once again.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
indeed. And you're going to be right there with us.
Yes,
from
you
6 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.